Well, bakers, I'm going to bring you my most popular series, Bold Baking Basics. And I'm going to show you 5 basics in 5 minutes. It is going to rock your world and you're going to really find these tips useful. The first thing we're going to do is whipped cream in a jar. So to make whipped cream in a jar, all you need is a mason jar. That's it, a 16-ounce mason jar with a tight, screwy lid. So next thing is our cream. So for our cream, we want heavy whipping cream, also known as double cream, something that has around 36% fat content. That whips up so much better. And you do want to make sure this is nice and cold coming from the fridge. So that goes into our jar. Now, if you want to sweeten your whipped cream, we're going to add in a little bit of powdered sugar and a splash of vanilla extract. Now, lid on, and watch within a matter of minutes how I turn this jar into the most wonderful whipped cream you've ever had. As you whip, you can hear that the mixture is getting thicker and the sound is getting less and less, which means it is thickening. When you can't hear any kind of like moving around, that's when you know it's done. I think I'm almost there. We're done. How quick was that? Now for the moment of truth. Look at that. Beautifully, softly whipped cream. Okay, so my second bold baking basics is an awesome one. What do coffee filters and cake baking have in common? Turns out a whole lot. So as bakers, there's definitely been a time we've all been in the kitchen making a cake and we've run out of parchment paper, but it's too late. But here is something that you can reach for instead. Coffee filters, they are the perfect size, 8 inches. They are food safe and they will peel right off your cakes. Watch this. All you need to do is butter your pan and lay in your coffee filter. It is cut to exactly the size of an 8-inch pan. This is what you end up with and it took seconds. Once your pans are lined, you can go ahead and put in your cake and just bake them off as normal. So my cakes have cooled down, so let's see if my trick worked. They came out so clean. Now let's see if they peel off easily. Look at that. The perfect size of the cake peels right off and your pan is nice and clean because it fit perfectly in there. I mean, this is an absolute game changer. You can buy hundreds of coffee filters for just a few dollars and they're already pre-cut. This is what I'm doing from now on. So my bold basic number 3 is all about eggshells. And as bakers, we've seen many in our cracked eggs, but here's a trick how you can easily get it out. Rather than going in with your fingers and fumbling, getting egg on your fingers and your fingers in your eggs, the best thing to do is actually use the half of the eggshell. So watch this. When you put the eggshell back into the egg, almost like a magnetic force, the eggshell is drawn to it. Because of the sharp edge, it slices through the viscous of the egg and can just get straight to the eggshell. Every time, it's almost like a magnet drawn to it. So there you have it. You didn't have to get messy and your eggs have no shells. Bold baking basics number 4. This is a great one if you're an old Irish lady like me and have a bag full of doilies. Let me show you what I'm going to use this for to make a cake look amazing. So here I have a regular sponge cake. Nothing too exciting, jam in the middle, a little bit boring. I have a really nice doily that has lots of pattern and holes in the middle and lots of space to make a design. I'm going to put that on top of my cake, take some powdered sugar and just start dusting. So dust liberally with powdered sugar and then very carefully lift off your doily. And what you have is a beautiful design on top. My 5th bold baking basic is how to make almond flour, because even if you're not gluten-free, this is a fantastic recipe to use in any of your baking. It adds moisture, it adds richness, and it also adds extra protein. It's really delicious and you should learn how to make it yourself. It's really easy and it's cheaper to make it yourself. So here I have a good food processor. This will blend it up really well. And I'm going to add into it blanched almonds that have not been roasted and they're not salted. So all we're going to do now is process this for around 2 minutes or so. You want to get it really lovely and fine, but you don't want to go too far where it starts to actually release its oils and starts to look like a paste and a little bit wet. So there's definitely a fine line. I'm going to show you what that looks like. At around 45 seconds, still a lot of lumps of nuts. So we're going to keep on going. There we go. I'm going to stop there around the 1.5 minute mark. As you can see, it's nice and fine. Once your almond flour is ready, the last thing we want to do is just pass it through a sieve to get it really nice and fine. If you find a lot of lumps of nuts still in your sieve, you can put them back on the food processor and blend them again. So for the really fine almond flour, this is what you get. Look at that. There you go, bold bakers. 5 bold baking basics in 5 minutes. I hope you really enjoyed them. I'm going to bring you some more really soon, so stay tuned.